Okay. Good morning. This is the, today is the November 8th, 2024 Trees and Green Infrastructure Committee meeting. We are here at City Hall on the second floor, and we are initiating our meeting at 10:08. Let me write that down. And I'm gonna first do the roll call of our members. Ms. Gay,
Here?
Andrea Huffman,
Here.
Jennifer Duncan,
Here.
and the chair, and we have a quorum, and we're prepared to confer and do our business. We're having a little bit of a kind of a mixed bag today, and we're waiting for one of the city staff people to join us, and but that's not, we can do some other things until she arrives. And we have a special guest today, and I'm not gonna give it up yet. I'm gonna wait because this is exciting.
Wait to
It's
introduce
very
him. You're gonna
exciting.
keep
Yeah,
the excitement. Okay.
this doesn't usually happen. So anyway.
Drum beat.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. We need a drummer. We do need. Okay, so anyway, I was thinking.
minutes.
I'm going to jump around. We basically just have some old business items, and but I wanted to maybe talk about your discussions with the. No, I was going to talk about Arbor Day and the discussions that you have, because we haven't really brought that up to date yet. So that's actually our old business C, and so I thought.
Well, you're going to do minutes first, right?
Oh, yeah.
Before we start
I can
skipping
do
around
the
on the
minutes.
agenda
Yeah,
items,
how
you're going to
about
do
that?
minutes.
Let
Okay.
me do that first. Okay, so I'm backing up. Everybody get a chance to read
Yeah.
our wonderful minutes. Okay, so this is for our last meeting, which was held on October the 11th, 2024. Anybody have a motion to approve?
Motion. So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor to
Aye.
approve?
Aye.
Okay, and then no opposition. We've approved our minutes. Okay, and I'm not aware of any correspondence that we've received, so now we're going to move forward. So I didn't know if you wanted to share with us your sort of discussions about.
Do you want me to do that before Mary Ellen gets here?
Okay, well, I guess if we want to wait,
Yeah, I think
I do have one thing that,
Yeah, Mike.
yeah, I do have one thing perhaps to raise. Last fall, winter, we did a cleanup.
Right.
The Deauville Beach cleanup?
The Deauville Beach cleanup. Could we talk about perhaps doing that again? And do you see a reason to do it?
In terms of doing some activity or a cleanup, yeah, but I don't think it's appropriate. Do we do it at Deauville?
No? Okay.
I mean,
You
it's
have
their-
another idea of
yeah,
where
I
to
mean,
do
it's
it?
It's their baby, so.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I think we did a nice gesture on our part to clean it up before they got it back, so.
I got you. Okay, I hear you.
Which was not anticipated when we did it,
Right.
but that's just the way it worked out. But, I would suggest if we're going to contemplate, possibilities, somewhere, I've had so many conversations with Kitty Cole over the years, that, something, involving Lake Gerard.
Lake Gerard, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be an area.
Okay.
But
Lake
I think we
Gerard.
need to scope it out. I mean, I'm just saying that generally, I don't know. And if you and I want to get together and go
Yeah.
over there and see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm thinking,
Wasn't it in January last
We
year?
did, yeah.
Yeah, so it
because
was winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
yeah.
So I'd absolutely go over there and, because I think communally,
Well,
It is-
it's really on the agenda
Open
regarding
top.
a continuation of discussions of some of the things we're going to do, we're thinking of doing. So, I mean, I think it's fair game. I mean, not specific to that, but we're just coming up with topics that we will investigate. We're not saying we're going to
So
do it.
you'll put that on the next
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
The
we'll-
cleanup
we'll
will be
follow up.
Cleanup,
Yeah.
cleanup of Lake Gerard then, okay,
Okay.
is, I think, something that we should think about.
Okay.
I mean, and that's one possibility. I mean, we can,
Or other areas, okay.
Well, then perhaps,
but I mean, if you got any other ideas or aside from those two.
no.
Yeah, I think you have to explore it next
Yeah,
month. And
right.
frankly, the same thing may apply to Arbor Day, because Arbor Day's not on here.
Right, but it's but, you know, we haven't committed to saying we're going to do it or not do it, but.
Okay, and you're waiting for Mary Ellen on that one?
Yeah,
right?
I think
Okay,
she was
okay,
doing
that's,
it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I think so.
And actually, the first one, we were sort of, I think I put that there just, she was going to try to find.
Right,
out.
exactly. So I think we need her for that one.
Right,
Right, because
okay.
as of right now, we do not know of any tree planting projects. And just to give you some background, the Commemorative Tree Fund, you've seen the sculpture downstairs. We have well over 100 donations at this point, about $70,000, but for the last 2 years, no trees have been planted with that money, and it's very disconcerting to people who are contributing to the city. So some of it was because Liz left, some of it was, and then the fact that there hasn't been an arborist for a year, I guess that's part of it. But we had identified, Andrea and I had identified some areas around Lake Gerard that would be perfect for new, large trees, oaks and other. And I think Mary Ellen was indicating it's probably too late for this season, and I get that, even though it's quite warm, the inventory may be down, don't know, but that's something that we need to get back on track, because before that, the program started in the fall of 2019. And up until the fall of 23, actually, I guess through the fall of 22, trees were planted every year with those funds, and we're in the process now of creating an online map showing where they are so that donors can go and see where their money has been spent. So we need to just get it back on track, but I think Mary Ellen was working on that too. Do you want to add anything to that in terms of the locations we scouted out?
I guess we could share them.
Yeah, I sent them to Mary Ellen.
You did?
Yeah, I
Okay.
sent her the pictures.
I actually spoke to her and asked her whether she had visited, and she said, no, Susan didn't. So I know that she doesn't exactly know where they are, but,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I told her where they were.
yeah. Well, and she's got pictures, but I
Yeah.
don't think she has gone there. So.
But I mean, what I had said that they were between first and second, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And to
I
the- I
don't-
said both
yeah.
actually to the east and west of first, that's what I said. Yeah.
And I think I'm very happy with that.
Yes, it's a prime location, and there could be, more than we could do in 1 year,
Correct.
actually. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to make a pitch for one more tree over in where I lost a tree, two
Oh, at
trees.
the- a park?
At the park, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to make a pitch for that. I also, at this point, maybe I do want to say a couple of words about the planting next time we do this. So somebody who knows a lot about trees said to me that we need to make sure when those trees are planted, and I can tell you I was not present, I've never been present, I don't think, when any of our trees for Arbor Day were planted, that the soil is treated, that it is not just plunked into the ground. And this person said that there was a suspicion that some of those trees may not have really been
Planted right?
planted correctly.
Okay.
I think also that in terms of the location, at least of the ones at the park, they did not end up where I thought they were going to end up. They were a bit too shaded,
Okay, they were too close to the
too
others.
close to the others, absolutely. And it's no surprise to me in a way, because of the way the sun is, that the one that survived, survived. So,
Interesting, yeah.
Well, I would think that we have to be more specific, I think.
well, and present,
Yeah, right.
and present,
Right.
which means that we need to know when they're being put in, and we should,
Yeah.
somebody
Those were
should
Arbor Day
watch.
trees, were they not?
They were Arbor Day trees, yes.
Okay. Okay.
We haven't had really a great track record with the Arbor Day trees.
Oh,
Especially-
tell me about it.
Yeah, right. And
know.
part of that had, I think, had to do with when we planted them over by the school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
Right.
and
Big change for this year.
Yeah.
Big change for this year. Okay, so I just want
that's hopeful.
Mary Ellen here to hear.
I'm trying to think of, I had on here the business about the construction, you know, sort of a continuation
Yeah, I wondered why
of
that
the
was on here.
discussion that we had at our last meeting. I thought that was, I really thought that was an interesting situation. I mean, maybe interesting isn't the right word, but I mean, it's just kind of baffling that things like that can get kind of as far along as they are without any kind of real, you know, city policy, you know, and
I think it's a function of the small lots. What are you going to do?
Right, but I guess what I'm getting at is, would it have been allowed without a policy? You know, like until there is, you know, that it's sort of an accepted procedure. I'm just.
Well, I would say yes, because our next door neighbors, right now, their house is being deconstructed. It's pretty much taken down to the bones, only the outside, everything else is going. It's going to be a much larger house, which have all been approved. But they've had to put up the skirt between our property and their property, and in doing so, they dug a huge ditch, which is fine with us. I mean, our lots are small. There are three big oak trees in their front yard where they had to dig the ditch right next to it. But, you know, nobody knew 60 years ago that the trees thought they were gonna get that big, or houses from
Houses were gonna get that
70
big.
years ago were gonna be, well, the prior house was extremely small, and as was ours. Ours was 7-foot ceilings. And so they were taken down and new houses built, and the trees grew bigger, and their roots of their trees come over into our yard, and it is what it is. I think it's just a matter of the small lots and big trees. And I don't think there's any thing you can really do about it or should do about it. They had to dig the trench because the city requires the skirt.
Well, I was thinking more in terms of if you felt, I mean, one of the things Jan Conacy had sort of suggested was that, you know, we review the tree ordinance and, you know, would it be
Right.
appropriate to, you know, make greater clarification with regard to the
Right.
you know, the adjacent neighbors' trees and all that kind of stuff. So I think we can continue with that. And we have an arrival. We have an arrival. Yeah.
Perfect
We haven't been really, we've been productive, okay? Just so you know, we're not really waiting for you. Yeah, so, yeah. And productive is relative, but anyway, so I'll note that Mary Ellen Gray has joined us, and I was going to have her first introduce our new staff person who we've been
Eagerly awaiting.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everybody. My apologies for being late. No
Not a problem. Yeah.
My appointment, there was a couple of accidents on the road on my
It's a
travels.
treacherous drive.
Yes, it was. I'd like to introduce Michael Lilly, who is first day, our city arborist. His first day was on Monday. We're thrilled to have him. He comes from Bellaterra, am I saying that right?
Yes, correct.
And he has hit the ground running, so we're very pleased to have him. And I want to have Mike, if you want to say anything about your experience and.
So far everyone's been extremely helpful here. They've, assisted me in any way they can. Me and Scott have gotten along well, and he's absolutely helping me to solve any of the issues I have with permitting and anything like that. I have extensive background in plantings and tree. I spent years, seven years, 3 months at Bellaterre Landscapes, so I definitely did a lot of work around here and in Lewis. So I'm very excited to be working with the city now.
Great. I'll mention that full disclosure, that I am a Bellaterre client, I guess, or whatever. I mean, just I have purchased some trees there, and I've always, I think it's it's a nice place, let's put it that way. They got a nice selection, it's presented well, it's, it inspires you to, buy plant material there, okay, so that's great. I mean, and I'll just say that I think Rehoboth is somewhat unique due to its location, which, the other beach communities, near us and everything are a little bit different in that if you go south, Dewey Beach becomes a barrier island. We have barrier island that way, and north, we have Lewis, which is a peninsula. What do you call that thing? I don't even know, but I guess it's somewhat similar. But Rehoboth is sort of connected to the mainland, and I think they call that a headland. I'm not certain that that's the definition, but we have hardpan underneath all the sand that we have, and I think that gives enough structure for large trees to grow and to, support themselves and not get knocked over so easily and all that kind of stuff. So, and it adds to the unique nature of the place, I think, and we have tried over the years to protect the trees, although, we are a growing community and the houses get updated and knocked down and all this other kind of stuff. But, I mean, the good news is that trees are a growing natural resource. So, if a tree has to come down, we can plant a new one and, start all over again. So anyway.
And we are, the little factoid, we are the second oldest tree city USA in the state, Dover being the oldest, I think. So we're the second oldest, 30-something years.
So,
Yeah.
tree canopy, close to the ocean.
Yeah,
So
Right.
worth protecting.
Yeah, and I guess, I think sea level rise, global warming, climate change, whatever how you want to define that topic, we're in uncharted waters, I think, in terms of what's.
Well, they'll be protective, for one thing.
Yeah.
So they'll be greatly protective.
Sea rise plus the state is
Thinking,
sinking.
Yeah. So,
do we want to go back to the topic about or
yeah, I just thought we would.
yeah, okay.
So, we're jumping around here. Well, we have an agenda. I can give you a copy if you
So,
want, but
yeah.
we're pretty much like, it's like a dartboard. We're just throwing stuff at it.
Well, we've essentially done B and C, except for talking about Arbor Day part of C. But
Yeah,
we
okay.
we skipped over A until,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm kind of following up with the discussion that we had last week, and one of the things was the business about the mapping project, and I don't know if you had gotten anywhere with that, or was there discussion with the IT folks about that, or? Yeah,
So as we discussed, it's my understanding that there has not been any prior movement on it, so we'd be starting from scratch, which is
Yeah.
fine.
yeah.
okay,
That's okay.
yeah.
So we just have to track down the information. So that's what I need to do. So do you all have information?
You mean on where the trees are, that's going to all be, I mean, I have some general information. I don't generally where they were planted, but that would all be in the city system.
will be
Because
in the city
in terms
system.
of the specific location
Yes,
and the
okay.
specific species would be in Liz's records or in the
Okay.
city system
And that's
somewhere.
what I
Yeah.
need to track down, because I do recall having an email discussion with Liz on it, and she told me to look in a certain spot, and it wasn't in that spot.
Yeah, you mentioned
So,
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just need to have a conversation when she's in the office, because
She is going to continue on a,
there is going to be an overlap.
oh, great, that's
For
wonderful.
a bit of
Yeah.
time to help train Mike.
Okay.
And so the next time she's in the office, she's out for this week and next week, but she'll be back in the following week. So when she's back in, we will have her sit down, and we will locate.
Okay, great, yeah. And typically,
is.
typically they have been clustered, you know, within they're part of projects. So for instance, the Lake Avenue streetscape was one. That was, I think that was the first one.
The Lake Avenue tree.
And then the ones on, what do you call that area across from the breakers? The park there? That's also sort of part of the Lake Avenue streetscape, right? That huge, big,
Strip in the middle.
Yeah, the green strip in the middle there in front of the breakers. That was one project one year. Delaware Avenue was the most recent one in the fall of '22, where there were 8 or 10 trees planted. And the reason that they're there is because one of the goals was to plant them in conjunction with city projects. And the Delaware Avenue restrooms were too close. You know, she didn't feel comfortable about putting them right there because there wasn't enough room, but also it's so close to the water, they wouldn't have done well. So instead, she used the opportunity of that construction project to put them down Delaware Avenue as street trees.
Gotcha.
The first 2 blocks, in fact, got them. So, and I can't remember others, but those were the main 3 projects that I'm recalling.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
We had someone Rehoboth Ave as well, did we not?
There may have been
We
some
had- I
replacement
think
ones for
there was
Rehoboth
some on
Avenue.
Rehoboth
Yep.
Ave as well.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to talk about Arbor Day?
Do we want to finish off with the locations of things that the two of us walked, and I think that I mentioned to you that we picked out a couple of places that we thought would be appropriate near Lake Gerard. One,
For Arbor Day?
no, for what we're talking
tree
about, for
planting.
the tree, for
They
the,
could be for Arbor Day too, though.
they could be for Arbor Day too,
Okay.
yes.
For tree planting for the commemorative tree program.
Right,
Correct,
yeah.
yes. The locations were around Arbor Day, and we'd be happy to walk with you. I know Susan has sent you some pictures.
Walk with Mike?
Yes, with Mike, yes,
yeah.
yes, with both of you, yes,
It's a plural you.
yes, you, yes. Got to get used to it, Mike, I'm sorry. Okay. So, yeah, we'd be very happy to walk with you and show you those.
Great.
Okay.
That would be really,
Yeah.
really helpful, because, yeah.
So, I think, does that exhaust that topic?
I think so.
Yeah,
For now,
I
yeah.
think so.
No, yeah.
Yep.
So just to be clear, you will reach back out and we'll schedule a time to do a
Correct.
walk and locate.
I have a time with you on the 15th, both of you,
Yep,
the
yes.
the plural.
Okay, well, why don't you do it? You gonna do it
I
then?
can do it,
Okay.
we can do it then. We'll just
Okay.
combine the two, okay?
Do you know when on the 15th?
11
Yes,
o'clock.
we,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm actually
yeah.
gonna, I
Yeah.
have a party. Okay,
So
that's
I have a question. So the trees that are going to be planted are going to be around Lake Gerard, correct?
But that is one really,
And, I would strongly recommend that a tree, a new tree, replacement tree, not be put in the park right across the street from the mayor's house. And the reason I say that is because that is a very small section of green space, and families walk their dogs and their kids in that tiny green space. Two of the 3 trees died. One survives, but right abutting that small section of green space is a park of nothing but trees. So I don't see the need to put another tree in that area when it's utilized by the people on that side of town. They're always walking their dogs there, their kids are playing there. There's not a park bench there, but we don't have very much open green space in the pines in that area.
well, the plan had been to put a park bench there, and
That would be nice.
I would say that I would put a tree there. If, off the topic of trees, however, what I would really put would be a post that says, use bags, please, and don't mess up the ground with your dogs.
Oh,
I
they
think
don't-
I think that is really needed there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't, because I walk Madison there about every other day, and it's clean. It's clean. You're
I've-
talking right across the street from
I know exactly
the
where.
mayor's.
Yes, I'm talking
I
right
forget the
there.
name. It's called Central Park.
Yes.
It's just a small green space.
Part of
And yeah, I've never seen that problem in that area,
Anyway,
honestly.
okay. So should we move on to Arbor Day?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been waiting for it.
So Arbor Day, the bandmaster here, yes, indeed. So Arbor Day next year, major change in things. The teacher who has been working on Arbor Day for many, many years and the prime mover at the elementary school has transferred schools. And I was ready to say, okay, I don't know what I want to do here, but anyway, I met the replacement teacher, and she is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So
What's her name?
her name is Tina.
Tina. Well, we knew the previous one by her first name, so I think that's fine.
Good, okay, leave it with Tina. But anyway, I'll remember at some point. Anyway, so I'm in, and the school would very, very much like to retain Arbor Day at the school. And I really support that because it has become very much of a communal program, pulling together the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Art League, the city, and the school. And it turns out that the former teacher had two water, what do we call it? Trucks? No, not trucks. She had two water hose areas installed on the south side of the school.
They had them installed just in the last couple of years?
Yes.
Oh, didn't know that, okay.
And
Water pumps, maybe?
ironically, no, I mean, they'll have hoses.
Okay,
They have
okay,
hose
okay.
attachments.
Right.
Ironically, last year, we looked at that location for last year's Arbor Day, and we decided that we wanted to try and get shade over at the classroom, at the outdoor classroom. We do have some survivors from last year. So we're going to be moving, what I would like to do and propose for next year is that we move to the south side, okay, of the school, where there is a community garden. And for the garden, they installed two hoses. And again, this is thank you to Jackie Kissel, I want to say, the teacher that has left, but she was very much responsible for this. There is a small swale, and the location that we're talking about would be large enough to, again, have all of the children plant. We will create the same grid that we did last year, and it is large enough for all the kids to plant. I want to talk a little bit about scheduling for this. We have the state lined up, and we will have a ranger come, the same ranger that's come by for all these years will be back. So what's new is we do have a water source now. I decided, and this was just my decision, that instead of doing our program twice, this would just be for fifth graders. So we're just going to run through it once. The other thing that is new this year is there is a new music teacher there, and I am hoping,
This is where it gets scary.
I am hoping that the school band is going to
there's a school
learn
band?
how to, yes, I'm going to bring out the school band next year. I've provided them with some music, and I am hoping that we get them, so this will be it. I'm not letting this guy off the hook, though.
I didn't realize you'd done that much work on it, okay.
So the last thing that I think needs to be done, and I may come to you, is that I would like to sit down with the principal and make sure that it is clear that we will be coming over, and we would very much appreciate the help of the folks that are remain as maintenance people through the summer to ask for their help. which we've never had. So,
Use the water, use the water hose and like,
yeah, so that's where it stands. So, okay.
Well, I think that's encouraging, you know?
When is
Oh,
Arbor
let me
Day?
tell you when Arbor
No,
Day
we
is.
don't, and we often do not have it on the actual day. I think, is the day the 25th? Is that the official day?
It's the last Friday.
Yeah, that's the
And it's
25th.
Good Friday.
No, that's
No,
not
no,
the
no,
la-
that's before Good Friday. Sorry.
18th is Good Friday.
Yes,
I just looked it
18th.
up.
We had chosen the 18th. Thank you, Susan.
So,
We had
so it's going to
chosen-
be the 18th,
No,
really?
it's not going to be.
Okay,
It's
I
going to be the
didn't-
17th. We're going to do it on
Oh,
the 17th.
Thursday, the 17th.
Thursday, the 17th.
April
Okay.
17th.
April 17th will be
Okay.
our Arbor Day.
Okay. Because the official day, I think, is the 25th, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's probably, I think the reason we have not overlapped with the official day is twofold. One, the person from the state who comes down, you know, has to go various places and had other commitments that day. Plus, there's some sort of complication with the school testing, either the spring break or the testing interferes with that day. And so it had to be moved because of that.
There's just one more thing that I would like to throw into the mix because it's been on my mind since we had somebody come and talk about it. I would very much like to give away some trees that day. And I don't know how to get that done, but I would very much like to offer trees.
To whom?
Citizens of Rehoboth Beach.
Okay. But like, would we do a raffle, or would we do something for people who were there? Or
First-
I mean,
first come,
or-
first
or
serve.
do we have to kind of think this
Yeah,
further?
I'm
Okay,
just
all
throwing
right.
it out,
Right,
but
okay. And that-
we had someone come and say that, you know, this is something we should do, and I do believe we should. I think we should. I'd like to find somebody to donate something. I think we should give away trees that day.
Maybe do, what is it
Yeah,
called?
new topic,
Right.
right, new topic.
Maybe do the lines in the sand to do a survey to see if anybody even wants trees?
Well, we can do that, yeah. I mean,
Before you
we
move
can
forward with
promote
giving
it, you
away-
know, right.
Investing money or getting them for free? Who wants them?
I mean, the state gives away trees, but
Yeah, they did that recently.
They just
probably
did it
Georgetown, I
recently,
think,
yes.
they did
very
that recently,
limited,
yeah.
species, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we can
But there was, yeah.
investigate,
Yep.
see if there's part of that program, I think.
Or a donation, somebody, anyway.
All right, well, that's pretty good, you know,
Questions?
yeah. I'll look into the,
So do you want to talk about, well, are there questions about, because I didn't know all this stuff. Do you want to talk about what you're going to then put on the future agenda based on what came out of this?
yeah, well, I had one thing I wanted to offer up. I was meeting with a neighbor this week. And in fact, our friends at the corner of Lee Street and State Road, yeah, and I'm not remembering, is it Carol?
Carol
Yeah,
and
but I
Carolyn.
met the husband.
Okay,
And
yeah.
anyway, we had a nice chat and everything. And I don't know if you all are aware, and I don't know the history of it at all, but the neighborhood of Schoolview, which is where we live, there's basically 4 streets. And it's, the school property is right in front of, is on Stokely Street. And then I live on Newcastle Street Extended. And then the next street is School Lane. And School Lane is sort of like an L-shaped street that it's parallel to the other 2 streets, but then it curves around and intersects those streets and then it kind of heads into where the school is. And then there's like a kind of a much shorter street called Lee Street. And the person I was talking to lives on the corner of Lee and State Road. But a little bit farther down on Lee, and there really aren't that many houses on Lee. I want to say there's probably no more than maybe 10 houses. But there's a little vestige of leftover land. I don't know the history of it, and I don't think it's much bigger than
It's a city
this
park,
area,
isn't it?
But it's a quote park, and by being a park, I think it means it's got a bench and not much else. And I don't know if it's necessarily used, but it's sort of situated on the street, and whatever the depth of it, I think it's sort of like a triangular shape. I think that's kind of what it is. It's a leftover somehow. And but anyway, there's really nothing else that sort of distinguishes it, and it abuts somebody's property who's on that circle off of, in Country Club. I think the
Oh,
houses
okay.
that are facing,
Yep.
what is that, Country Club?
That's Country Club Drive. That's the dead-end part of Country Club
Club
Drive.
Drive, but is
Yeah.
it called Country Club Circle, or is it?
No, it's just part of Country Club Drive.
Drive, it's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
that's
it's
where
the 400
address-
block of
the
Country
400
Club
block,
Drive.
Okay. So,
What do you want to do with it? What do you think?
well, this fellow I was talking to, he was just saying, that really, to be fair, it doesn't really look that great, simply because there's no sort of, the definition of like where it ends and everything, it's just sort of there, and it's sort of like then becomes at some point undefined, somebody's backyard. And he was just suggesting it'd be nice to beautify it, I guess, and I don't know how extensive that would be or whatever, but I said I would just, bring it up, to have us discuss it or whatever, and we can go over there and take a look at it. But I can't imagine, I mean, in terms of, quote, trees, it probably doesn't need a tree. Maybe one tree. I don't know. We'll have to look at it. It's probably shady at certain times of the day, but
I'm looking at.
okay, okay,
Well, I'm looking up on the zoning map. It is a triangular lot,
yeah.
01 in. Yeah, it's called Lee Street Park.
So who
See
knew?
it there on the zoning map?
Yeah,
It's
right.
triangular portion.
And like I say, I can't imagine it's all that big.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I mean, I don't think we want to go nuts and put a fountain there, or I'm being facetious, but maybe something that would sort of define it a little bit. I don't think it wants to be any more than, a place that someone could,
see it, Mary Ellen?
sit down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
On the zoning map, it's 0-1-N.
I just pulled up Google Maps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's small like that, you could do something like Deer Park. We have a bench.
Yeah, it's
And we
it's
have a
got a
little
bench. It
walk
has a
around,
bench. It has a
and-
bench.
And people actually walk through it all the time in the summertime.
Right. It's really not that big to sort of walk through it. It's basically,
Just a little round,
it's just like a little kind of vestige thing, but I think,
Have some neighbors plant some flowers.
yeah, but I was thinking more like maybe some, something ornamental, or a privet, or something that's to kind of define it a little bit better, and actually to kind of shield it from the backyard space that it abuts, I mean, that's really probably the only thing. But anyway, I'm just tossing that out there.
have you ever walked through Deer Park
Yeah,
on Kent? It's just
Yeah.
got the little round, I mean,
yeah,
half circle. It's not very big.
okay. But
Did you do
this
that
is
as neighbors?
pretty small.
Neighbors did it in the,
Yes.
it's my understanding that neighbors in the 1960s, who are no longer with us, became alarmed that apparently the city wanted to take that, what is today Deer Park, and build lifeguard quarters, a building. And they gathered together, and they dug up the little halfway circle, put a bench in it, did the little road there, put the railroad ties in, and declared it to be Deer Park, and the city said, okay. So it became a park.
Oh, okay.
That is the legend of the area surrounding where we live.
Yeah. So I don't know, I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know any history about it, and maybe we could maybe I'll look into that or whatever. I don't know if it was like left as a result of the subdivision that is School View and how that, was adjacent to, however, Country Club Estates was divided up or whatever. But anyway, I think it would be a nice little reflective spot, because the way the houses, what happens is that there are houses on the, I guess, the north side of Lee Street, and then they stop because these other houses that are in that little circle kind of back up to that, and then then Lee Street kind of curves and then ends up in
School Lane.
a school lane, so, it's,
All right.
it's a little
So-
street, so, anyway.
So topics for future agendas?
Yeah, so I'm up for
Well,
any
I guess
ideas?
the Arbor Day details would be a biggie, right?
I don't know how much more, yeah.
Well, but I mean,
Yes,
to include
sure.
the tree giveaway, just all the elements you
Yes,
described.
okay, yes. And then I think a cleanup spot.
Cleanup, yeah.
For a communal cleanup spot
Okay,
would be next.
and then we'll hopefully get together and maybe take a look over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're gonna be around.
I'm here.
And then what's your timeframe?
Me.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask when our next meetings are. I am leaving Rehoboth, living here full-time on the 18th
Of,
November.
oh, okay,
But I'm leaving the country mid-January.
okay.
So I can be back here in December and January
The
for a meeting.
regular scheduled meeting in December would be the 13th.
Okay.
I, however, will not be here that day.
Okay.
I can make it.
So,
I can
okay.
make the 13th, okay.
Okay.
And then following that up, in January, it would be when?
The second Friday.
It'd be the 9th of January.
Sounds right, yeah.
Okay.
You're saying it's the 13th is December?
Yep, think so.
Okay, and then the 9th, and, okay.
Hold
I
on,
got the
yep, 13th
dates
is
wrong.
second Friday, and then the 10th
Wait a
for
minute.
January, I think.
Oh, the 10th, yes, you're right. I don't know about that one.
Theoretically, I would be here that day, because planning commission that day.
Okay, I'm unclear on that, but maybe, okay. I'll definitely, I can make the December meeting.
Okay, sounds good. All right. All
So
right.
let's hope you can get a quorum for the December meeting.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, hopefully you will.
I mean, maybe Bob will be around or whatever.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, and we have no citizens here, so, all right, well, I think we've done our due diligence here,
okay.
okay?
And we got in under an
and
hour.
it's great that we get to finally meet our new city arborist,
Yeah.
and thank you, Mary Ellen, for being here and doing what you do, and everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting at 10:50.
Yep.
And thank you all for coming, and next time.